Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am going to share this watercolor card and I'm going to share my favorite watercolor tip, and I think you're going to be surprised at what that is. But first I wanted to tell you that this video is part of a video hop celebrating the brand new February release from Altenew. So be sure you check that out and don't miss your chance to enter the giveaways. I'll have all those details in the YouTube description below. For today's project, I'm featuring the brand new Scripted in Bloom. This is a Build-A-Garden set, which is available as a subscription or separately. And there is a coordinating die available as an add-on. And don't forget, Altenew includes inspiration in all of their stamp packaging, so you'll want to hang on to that because there's some great card ideas. Now I'm going to start with the large floral from the stamp set, and I'm placing it in the center of my Stamp Wheel 2.0 and picking it up with the flip plate. I'm going to be stamping this onto some cold press watercolor cardstock from Altenew. I'm using the pad today because I'm using a piece that's a little bit larger than an A2 size, but keep in mind, this is also available in pre-cut A2 sheets, and it's a great high quality cold press watercolor cardstock. Now I am going to stamp this in the Enchanted Gold pigment ink, and I'm going to do some heat embossing. So I went ahead and prepped the surface of my watercolor cardstock using an anti-static powder tool. And then I'm going to ink up that stamp, flip my flip plate, and press the stamp onto this watercolor cardstock. Now this does have a little bit of texture, and so it doesn't stamp great on the first go around because watercolor cardstock is notorious for being difficult to stamp. So I'm just going to ink that up again, flip my flip plate over again, and re-stamp that image until I'm satisfied. Now, because this is a pigment ink, I don't need any other steps. I can just go ahead and remove this from the stamp wheel and add some gold embossing powder over the top. I'm just sprinkling over the entire image. I'm going to shimmy it around a little bit and then make sure that I tap it off before I heat set it. Now, when you heat set embossing powder on watercolor cardstock, make sure you don't overheat it. It will sink into the cardstock if you're not careful, but if you are careful, you can get a beautiful embossed image like this one here. Now, I use like this mini clipboard to hold my watercolor cardstock down as I paint, and I'm using some satin masking tape to secure it to the clipboard, and that's just going to help limit bowing and allow me to pick up the piece as I'm working on it and kind of turn it about. Once I have that secured down, I'm going to grab these brand new Artist Watercolor Foundation brush set. These are brand new this month from Altenew, and you can see this brush set has a nice variety of different sizes of round brushes, as well as a couple of flat brushes and a large angled flat brush. I'm going to be using mostly rounds today because I'm kind of going into some smaller areas and want to do some detail painting, but those flat brushes are great to have on hand. I have my petal palette here and the Deep Muse watercolor compact. There are some new watercolor compacts available over at Altenew. I love these little sets because the colors are perfectly curated to work together and they all kind of match in vibe. I am doing a slight bit of mixing, but not a lot. I'm mixing like the lighter pink and the darker pink. I'm adding a little bit of the brown to the pink color and then a little more of that lighter pink. And I'm starting out with a large round brush and dropping some water over that first bloom. Now you're going to see me mostly paint this large bloom here. And I start out by adding this base layer of color. So I'll go over various images, add water, and then drop in color and just kind of spread it out to create my base layer. I'm adding some brown to the centers of the florals, but you'll notice that I'm going to be painting in layers. So once I get my base layer down on the flower, I'm going to move to another portion that's not sitting right next to that flower because I don't want this green to move into the pink that I already have down. When they're right next to each other and the image is still wet, those can bleed together. So I'm just kind of skipping around and working on some various areas of the watercolor painting. Once I have my base layers down, I'm going to go in and start building colors and layers of colors, darker colors on top of the lighter colors to build dimension. For that process, I'm going to go ahead and just turn on some music and allow you to watch the watercolor. Now, once I'm satisfied that I have plenty of highs and lows, I'm going to dry this watercolor painting and then remove it from my clipboard. And then I'll use the coordinating add-on die set to die cut this image. Now, when I was looking at this, it's beautiful, but I felt like it was missing something. And so I decided to bring in my fine liners and add even more contrast and dimension to this image. This is my favorite watercolor trick. Sometimes I feel like I can't quite get the depth of color that I want for my deepest, darkest parts of my painting. And so I'll take a really fine tip, fine liner pen, and go in and add a little bit of black to the very, very corners of some of these images, just like those lower parts of the petals that meet together. And this really intensifies the contrast between the deepest, darkest parts and the lightest parts. Kathy Rakusin used to do this with her Copic watercolors, and I think it's a great tip that we can carry over to our watercolor paintings as well. And like I said, it really builds the contrast and the shadows in those areas. Now, I'm going to hold this up and show it to you, but you may not see the difference here. So I created a little side-by-side so that you can see the difference where that black is added here on the right-hand side and the original watercolor painting on the left-hand side. It really does make a difference in person, and I hope you'll give it a try the next time you're doing some watercoloring. I grabbed the Gothic Arches die set, also a new product from the February release, and I'm die cutting the frame portion from some brushed gold cardstock from Altenew and this center kind of wrought iron portion from some pink sand cardstock from Altenew. It's a beautiful, beautiful neutral colored cardstock. You can see I had a lot of hanging chads, and so I used my perfect picker tool to just knock those out. Now, the example actually shows this wrought iron or this scroll kind of piece sitting on top of the frames, but I decided to nestle it behind the frames. So I'm adding some liquid glue to the front side of those tabs that's on this scrolly window portion, and I'm adding the frames over the top. You could definitely die cut these frames from two different colors and add a little more contrast, but I just wanted the simplicity of the gold with that beautiful background. And I'm going to place my florals right over the top. It's kind of very Beauty and the Beast, I think. So I grabbed the other stamp from the Scripted in Bloom stamp set and a white card base, and I'm going to stamp that in the lower left-hand corner using that Enchanted Gold pigment ink once again. Now I'm going to assemble this card, and then you're going to see me disassemble it because I do change my mind here in just a bit. But what I did was I added some foam adhesive to the back of this piece that I created and adhered it on to the card front. Now I grabbed a sentiment from the Scripted in Bloom stamp set, and I'm stamping it in obsidian ink onto this sandy blush or blushy sand, sandy blush cardstock. And I die cut it using the coordinating die. And this is when I decided this was actually the perfect background color for this beautiful watercolor that I created. So I cut down a panel. I ripped off my watercolor piece and my window from that other card base, and now I'm stamping this again, this beautiful floral piece in the lower left-hand corner of this sandy blush cardstock. You can see that gold ink looks so pretty on this color cardstock. I'm going to nestle a piece of vellum behind the window so it kind of softens the background just a little bit. And then I am adhering this sentiment over the top of the window piece. I haven't actually adhered the watercolor piece and the window down. I did trim down this panel of cardstock. It was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I trimmed it down by about 1/4 of an inch. And then I added liquid glue to the foam adhesive that was already there, but it was covered in that old nasty cardstock. And I adhered my floral piece onto the front. Now I had a little extra on that right-hand side, so I trimmed that off. And then I added this to a pink sand card base with some foam adhesive on the back. Now to finish this off, I wanted to add a little bit more sparkle, and so I'm using the Altenew Stellar Sequins in the color Pewter, and I think it really brings in the kind of dusty rose color of this floral and kind of mixes really well with that brushed gold. So here's a look at the finished card. I absolutely love the way this card turned out. I don't always watercolor paint, but I find that I enjoy it so much. I'm by no means a professional, but by painting in layers and adding just that little bit of black pen to the deepest, darkest parts of my painting, I find that I end up loving the results. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, as always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. Or you can head on over to my blog. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. I want to say thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of my paper crafting, card making, or live stream video tutorials. I hope you found a little bit of joy, a little bit of light, and a little inspiration here for your card making journey. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.